Oh, here's your Backstage pass.
Quiet on the set.
Action!
Welcome to Sedona's Backstage Pass with Shondra, presented by Chef Lisa Dahl. This is your inside look into culture, curators, and creative artists. And now, your host, Shondra.
Welcome, my VIPs. You've got your Backstage Pass, and you are in again on Saturdays, every Saturday at 10 a.m. here at KAZM 106.5 FM and 780 AM. And always remember, you can visit mellowmountainradio.com and hear the show streaming live. And later, if you miss it, you can go to Spotify, Pandora Radio, even Apple Podcasts and hear it there. It's all archived there and mellowmountainradio.com. At this time, I want to thank my engineer and producer, Ryan Thompson. I'm waving at him right now. And he always does such a great job. These are just so much fun to do, and they sound so good because of Ryan. So now, I always like to talk about what's going on in town. Always want to support the great organizations we have here in Sedona. For those of you who are coming in for the holidays, there is a lot going on. So I want to tell you about that. First of all, please always visit the Mary D. Fisher Theater and the Alice Gill Sheldon Theater. They're together. They're part of the Sedona International Film Festival, which, by the way, is a rockin' film festival, which starts on the 21st of February and runs 9 days. They have some extraordinary events, ongoing events, like annual ones, and concerts, and even the Met Live Opera. And there is a subscription, but you can go and see them singularly as well. The one that is happening tonight, November 22nd, actually, I take it back. It's at 11 a.m. That's right. So you're going to hear the show and run over to Mary Fisher Theater. That is Arabella. That one is playing, and it is a live simulcast, I think it's called, or how do you say it? I wish I knew. Simulcast. This is what it means. It is being cast live. Okay, so you're going to see it live. It is Richard Strauss's romantic centerpiece of the Met Opera season. All right, and that just happens to be Arabella. Also, some wonderful, wonderful films, so make sure you check it out. Always go to SedonaFilmFestival.com, and you'll see all of the events and movies and concerts that are all coming up there. It's wonderful, wonderful. Now, also, Interfaith Thanksgiving event. This is an annual event. It is my favorite by far. I just love it. This is an interfaith, so it's not necessarily religious in that it's just one religion. You get to hear from all of the clergy people here in Sedona, and together they come, and we come to celebrate each other. And what a wonderful thing, especially in today's world, right? That is Tuesday, November 25th, so it's next Tuesday. It's coming up, and it is at 7 p.m. at the Church of the Red Rocks, which is located on 54 Bowstring Drive. Church of the Red Rocks has been with us for 60 years, I believe. It's amazing, incredible. And this is a Thanksgiving service. It's interfaith, like I said. Afterwards, you can enjoy some pumpkin pie. And it's just a lively, wonderful concert. I just love it. Absolutely love it. Now, let's see what else is going on here. Oh, yes, our friend Tyler Carson, Fiddler on the Rock. He has a concert coming up, and that's on Saturday, November 22nd. So make sure you look up fiddlerontherock.com, and you'll find out about him. There's also Sedona Turkey Trot. Not Sedona, but it is kind of Sedona-ish, but it's the Sedona Turkey Trot, and that's Thursday, November 27th on Posse Grounds. All that land there is beautiful, and it's a festive, family-friendly run, walk to start Thanksgiving morning off. So you'll be so hungry by the time Thanksgiving comes, but you will have known that you worked off whatever you ate the night before. Okay, just saying. All right, so there's a couple of things going on, and I do want to mention, because I didn't mention this, that the events calendar is sponsored by Sedona Ballet. Winnie Munch is the founder and executive director, and she is what we call a peach. She is so involved in bringing beautiful dance concerts, workshops, seminars. There will be one coming up in the spring next year. I believe it's in April. You've got to check it out, sedonaballet.org. And all of our friends over at Community Library Sedona, check them out. I'm going to give you their address. That one is, where am I? CommunityLibrarySedona.org. Also, SedonaArtCenter.org. And like I mentioned, SedonaBallet.org, SedonaMuseum.org. If you haven't been to the Heritage Museum, make sure you go there. Lots of wonderful events coming up over there. And of course, if you want to find out about films, SedonaFilmFestival.com, all the great concerts there, and the Sedona Chamber of Commerce, visit Sedona.com. That's what it's called. You'll find out about all that's going on. All right. Well, we are going to move into what I would refer to as part 2, because last Saturday we had this wonderful person. Chef Lisa Dahl is here. Oh my gosh. Some of the things we talked about were so much fun. Remember those big events. Chef Lisa Dahl, thank you for being here.
Oh, I'm so excited.
It's exciting. And you know, Thanksgiving is like right around the corner.
It really is.
And I know you're having a big Thanksgiving. I mean, is it just in one?
No.
How many restaurants of yours?
3 crazy restaurants participate. We do close the casual restaurants, meaning Pizza Lisa and Butterfly. We close them because we're not going to have people coming for that. And we don't want to take away from the labor that goes in with the fine dining restaurants. And what goes into a scratch Thanksgiving is actually, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I start saying no the year I'm doing it. I'd say, no, next year I'll never do it again. But guess what? I can never not want to do it. This will be my 29th Thanksgiving that we do. By the grace of God, I must say, because it's something that everyone always goes through stress when they're making Thanksgiving dinner in their own home for a party of 6 or 8 or 10, 12, whatever it is. But when you think about making it for 1,000 people in the quality that we do, and I would tell you this, you can never get the turkey quantities right, no matter what.
Because you don't know, do you? You don't
you
really?
do and you don't. It's really impossible to say.
Who gets the leftovers afterwards?
We always do. I am the leftover queen. But even leftovers. At times, I adore the leftovers.
I do.
You know what
Love
I do?
that.
And I don't know if we ever spoke about this. My mother had always done something that we love more than even the first night. We called it the turkey casserole or whatever. Basically, it sounds so mundane and silly, but it wasn't. It was more flavorful and delicious. Take a casserole and layer each of your favorite things. So I always start with gravy on the bottom, and gravy is one of my everybody's favorite things. And it's actually an art, as we know. We won't get into gravy too much unless you want to. But gravy, having enough of it for leftovers.
Yes.
And then you put in the casserole, you put your stuffing.
Ooh.
And then you layer your gravy a little bit again. Your turkey, thin slices go over that. A little bit of gravy. You can put mashed potatoes in. If you do, you want to layer them between the layers so they don't dry out on top.
Got it.
And then you put a little drizzle of gravy. You, of course, tent it and bake it. You know what? If you have leftover baby peas or whatever you have, you make basically a Thanksgiving lasagna.
I was just going to say, it feels like a lasagna.
It's killer.
I love it.
We would always put it in the freezer for another Thanksgiving dinner down the line, whenever that would be. And, or as many as you want to make that your freezer can hold. But when you pop those out on a cold night and you just warm it carefully at the right temperature and bring it all back to life, it is one of the most delicious.
Okay,
savory.
I'm going to try it.
Yes.
I'm going to do it.
And there's always leftovers.
It's so good. Okay, Thanksgiving, I think, is right on the top of the list of my favorite holidays.
You and me both.
And Tom and I have hosted many. Right? And it's always so nerve-wracking, kind of.
Yes.
Like I can't even imagine doing this for 1,000 people in 3 restaurants. You're doing this.
Well, each restaurant has a different capacity. Cucina has 22 years of having their Thanksgiving, and with, we're quite a large restaurant, so we will do 300, maybe a bit more covers on that Thanksgiving. We always open at 4 so that we can get the first meals going out, because there's a rhythm involved when you're doing that. And I have to tell you, it comes down to timing of everything. And I always correlate what we do in restaurants is the same tips that home chefs need. And it really does make a difference in how you understand the timing of what you need to do a day in advance, what you need to do the day of. And those steps, even though at home you have 1 turkey and maybe I have 60 turkey breasts, right now I do turkey breasts. To be honest with you, the whole turkey with who wants dark, who wants light, it's a nightmare for restaurants.
I can imagine.
It is a nightmare when it comes to the plating and all that there is. I don't even want to stress people out about that, because thinking about the years I did that was crazy. We use all organic turkey. I use Mary's turkey, and I brine the turkey breast 2 days in advance in the same way you would, no matter if you're making a turkey or a turkey breast in your own homes. Brining a day at least before, and then the marination. You do those, and then you keep those little turkeys in refrigeration, right? And then you time everything else that's labor intensive. If you're having homemade cranberries, then you get that out of the way in advance, because if you're trying to do that amongst the other things, it's really not the way to do it. I think making stuffing is so fun. But guess what? I make at least 60 trays of stuffing, and we use all of our own homemade focaccia, which has the rosemary. So we break it down, and you have to let the bread dry out. So that, again, is a day or 2 days before. Mm-hmm. So when you understand the mechanics, and you can do that, even if it's a dinner party for 10 or 12, it's the same rules apply, except for we're doing it in volume. I mean, but really, you will taste it in a way that you think that we made it for a smaller number, because you can literally taste the love in the food. Mm. And the love that you will taste is the old-fashioned way. And everything that my grandmother taught me when I was a kid is still something apply. Like how you let the mashed potatoes, which are usually, we want more mashed, but somebody ran out of gravy. You cannot run skimpy on gravy, or guess what? People get really mad. I remember
that's true.
I remember one of my first Thanksgiving at Cucina Rustic, and if these people are out there, I'll still hunt you down. I will never forget how, after everything was so perfect, the one thing we ran short on, believe this or not, was the cranberry relish. Oh. And they wanted their meals comped because we didn't have the cranberries. I'm like, come on.
That's ridiculous.
And guess what? So now I end up with so much extra cranberry relish because I'm so paranoid that I'll run out.
Yeah.
But I do a very simple cranberry relish, and I always have. I don't do the cooked cranberries. We order the organic cranberries, and we do with the fresh navel oranges. And the way that we do it becomes almost like a tonic that cleanses that richness that you have in a very rich meal.
Right.
Because everything, let's face it, is rich.
It's rich.
And cranberries and the oranges and the way that we do that with a little bit of ginger and all of that, it's so healthy. And yet at the end of the meal, you just feel great.
Yeah, see, I love cranberries. I love making the relish.
Do you? How do you do your?
Well, I do make the organic cranberries, and I boil them down. I don't use sugar. Sometimes I've done it, but sometimes I'll use honey. Yeah. It just depends. And I throw walnuts in there.
Delightful.
And, some other little goodies. Sometimes I've thrown raisins. I've thrown some things like that in there.
Yes.
And it's yummy.
It is.
And it's a relish, and I love it.
Absolutely.
And there's always a lot, because I think I'm the only one that really loves cranberry relish. In our family, I mean, Tom loves it, but I really love it.
add that sugar, baby, and they'll all like it.
Right? I know. Well,
No, you know what I do? I have to be honest.
You have to boil it down.
Well, I don't boil mine. Mine is
You
raw.
don't?
No,
So you don't
mine
boil
is
it
raw.
down?
I literally just do cranberries, oranges, and we do many times a bit of celery. I don't want to make people.
So I have a question. I have a question about this.
Yes.
So I boil it, but I don't boil it down.
No,
so
I
it's
know
like
what you
gooey,
mean. You make
right?
it like almost like a
it just-
compote.
Yeah, that's right. It's kind of
Correct.
cracked open,
Yes.
the berries,
Oh,
and then you
yes. Oh,
stop.
yes. Yeah.
And so then you throw everything, you've got things in there, and then you throw a few other, extra things in there. I mean, the last times I've made it have been with sugar, always organic.
Yes. Yes,
but
and a little, look at
I like it
a
sweet.
little bit of sugar because the cranberries are so
Tart.
tart.
Yeah.
And, I don't put a lot of sugar, and we also
I think I do.
augment that with honey. So you lied in the beginning. So
I-
when you
well,
said, okay, you
I know.
lied. No.
Yes, I did. Because I like it. I do like my cranberries sweet. And most people
Yes.
don't like tart cranberries.
Well-
if you use honey, it works. But, you're right. The consistency of the sugar doesn't make it a little bit more.
It is. It is one of the things that I have to admit. I think a bit of sugar is necessary.
A bit?
And as you make it, and it's not something, I don't want to be hypocritical and say don't use a recipe. I think if you find your favorite method,
Yes.
and then you taste to let it balance.
Yes.
Because quite honestly, you don't want to make it where there is no tartness. The tart
True.
is part of what makes it so wonderful against the richer gravies and
Good to
the
know.
things that you have. Ooh, one thing I forgot to tell you is that years ago, I decided I'm not going to make mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes because it's too much.
It is.
So what I started doing all of 29 or at least 28 years ago is making the yam soup, garnet yam soup, as one of my starters when you get the prefix menu.
Nice.
And it's become an institution in terms of the soup gets more compliments, I think, than anything else. But it's a wonderful way if you were having a home party. Instead of loading people with all the starches there are, start with this incredible soup that is got the sweetness of the yam and the little bit of spice that goes along with the recipe. This is actually in my very first cookbook, The Elixir of Life. And many people start to ask me about the recipe way before Thanksgiving. It's a sneaky and fun way to have the yams and the nutritional value. But, if you start an event with a soup, it warms everyone up in a way. You can always layer your salad next. But sometimes I'll even serve it like in a demi-tasse as a welcoming at this time of year because it is not only one of my easiest soups, but it's kind of a fun way to enjoy the garnet yam in a different way. And I say the garnet yam.
I love them.
I love them even more than the normal sweet potato because when you bake them, and you bake them until they're just gooing up,
Yes.
you don't almost even need anything
No, you
with
don't
them.
need any
you don't.
sugar.
They're like,
they're
no.
so sweet.
You don't. I don't put
The
any
garnet's the
sweetening.
orange one, right?
It is it's
love
more,
it.
its skin is darker. No, the skin is going to be more red.
Yes, that's right. That's
Correct.
the one that
it's
I
a
use.
darker one. They can be
Yep.
irregular in size. So if you're baking quite a few of them, like for a soup, separate them and bake the same size along with bake them at a high temperature, like 4 1/4.
That's what I do.
Turn them once. And what I love is that they exude what's almost like a molasses out of them.
It does.
And I scrape them out
Ooh,
of
yeah.
the skin.
Right.
And then I put them into my pot with the broth, and they turn into a natural puree. You're not going to thicken them so that it's gluten-free. And as you do it with the sofrito and the lovely spicy things that we do in the recipe and puree it, you taste it, and it's especially if you let it, that's again, make that the day ahead. I'm telling you, that's
Okay.
something you get out of the way because
That's the
everyone knows that every soup that tastes good on the first day is going to taste twice as good the
Right.
next day.
Okay, now I want to throw. This is so
Yes.
nerve-wracking. Oh my God. Okay, this is a family recipe. Let's see what you think of this.
Yes,
I've always wondered.
yes.
My mom made this for years, and I have been doing it ever since. We do make a turkey. Okay?
Correct.
All right. So what I do is I take some butter. You know, I get a whole bunch, and it's all organic. Everything's organic.
Got it.
And so when I'm preparing the turkey, I don't do the brine. I don't do that.
Okay.
So this is something new for me. And then what I do is I clean the turkey. I put it in a pot, and I pour the butter over it. This is my mother's recipe.
Correct.
And then I take the seasoning, and I get it all together. And more than not, I will stuff the turkey. Okay?
Okay.
Now, what I do is it's in a big pan with a lid on it, and then I've already put it in this big foil wrap, and I cover it up.
Tent.
Yes, like a whole tent.
You make
and
a
it's-
tent.
Right, and then I put it in at 280, and it's all night.
Whoa, I love
and
it.
then
Love,
what
love.
happens? I don't open it
I love
until
that.
about 1:30 p.m. the next day.
Okay.
And the hardest part of this is just making sure the oven doesn't turn off. It freaks me out. It never has happened, but it does freak me out. And then when the guests arrive, usually it's around 3.
Yeah.
You know, we'll have people come over, pull it out, and undo it, and it is falling off the bones.
Oh, 100%. I
And
love
there's
the
a
method.
lot of liquid. You know, like just from the natural juices are way up high.
Correct.
And we use that for the broth, for
Yes,
the gravy.
of
Ask
course.
Al Camello. He's been to our Thanksgivings many times.
It sounds, I love hearing new ways that people do things.
Is that
And
okay,
it's
though? That's kosher.
100% it's kosher.
Okay.
And I mean, I could talk to you the whole time about that whole method because I know why that works. I do that overnight, like with our pulled pork. So things like
okay.
that, yes. In terms of worrying about the oven not working, that's a 1 in a million, although it did happen to us one of our first years
Oh my
at Dahl and
gosh.
Toluca.
Come on.
They cut the power lines, got severed down on Dry Creek Road.
Yes.
And I had always made our turkeys, this is early on at Dahl and Toluca, and I will never forget what we had to do. We had a huge crowd coming, and we had to bring in Weber's.
No.
It's incredible what we did to save the day, and people raved about it.
That is
so there's a Weber method. There's a slow method, like you're saying. I would tell you something very funny. I might even take some of that because, of course, we're cooking ours into the night. But I will tell you the one thing that I do different
Okay.
is that I usually will put mine in at a higher oven and then turn it down to the temperature you say.
Oh,
so we're always
okay.
told to start at around 425, but not bake at that. Have the oven at that. When you put it in, then you lower it down like you
Oh,
do.
That's a great
Now,
idea.
there's a second thing I do, and I will never change probably as long as I live. I use extra virgin olive oil
Okay.
instead of the butter.
Okay.
Now, the reason is that I believe that the extra virgin olive oil delivers in the spices into the internal part of the turkey even more, and it insulates in a way that butter doesn't. But you know what?
Okay.
Every recipe from all the years of us growing up was butter. I just learned that if I take my garlic, my spices, everything that we put in chilies and cayenne, and just, you would think that over seasoning, but it never does.
I love that.
And that's what people tell me. We send it out on my newsletter every year. Tips for a great turkey. I'll take some of yours that you gave me.
Ooh.
And I'll incorporate with mine, which is the olive oil and my spices. When I say brine, I don't mean you have to make a complicated brine.
Okay.
What I do is make sure that we soak them in salt water overnight at least. And then, and I hate to give up all my secrets.
I know. Do you sure you want to do that?
Maybe not. But I do
maybe
have
not.
something. I soak them overnight.
Uh-huh.
And then the marinating of whether it's the butter and the herbs and the garlic and all and the paprika, etc., or olive oil, let it sit on there a little while. Never throw turkey in the oven cold. Never.
Okay.
If you throw it in cold, it's going to affect the meat somehow.
Okay, that's
so
good
let
to know.
all that macerate into the turkey, and I'm going to maybe this time cook some turkeys overnight in honor of your recipe, but I will never change from olive oil to butter for a number of reasons.
Yes.
And that's
I know
just,
a lot of people don't cook with butter.
well,
And I don't
I
normally,
like butter.
I don't
No,
normally cook,
I know. I just think that
But
the
with the turkey-
old-fashioned way, we think that the butter is the best way for the outer skin to get it brown, but the olive oil would do the same. But what I like is that the olive oil is going to penetrate into the fibers of the turkey.
And make it more moist,
And make
maybe?
it go in all the way. Anyone that says, I don't eat the white meat, I'm like, oh, guess what?
Oh, no.
You don't know. That's because you're not cooking your turkey properly.
Yeah, because never have a problem.
Never,
with ours.
never, sister.
I know, right?
We
Look at
never
that.
will.
Look
Let's
at it.
cook
Slap
together,
it.
baby.
That's so true. What's your favorite pie? I think I've asked this before.
Well, I am not.
You're not
the
a
biggest.
pie person?
Well, I hate to admit that I'm more of a crisp. I like things
I love
like
that.
the crisp things,
like an apple crisp.
Yes, and we're
Yummy.
making that in our restaurants right now, and I love all the things that would maybe be in a pie. Doesn't mean you couldn't talk me into eating pie.
Depends
but
on what
for
pie it is.
instance, exactly.
Right.
See, I love things like the pecan pie, the really fattening, buttery.
You like that?
Yes, I do
Okay.
like it, and I like pies. But if I could have the crunch like we
crunch.
do, and we
Yes.
make this granola that is gluten-free. But I have to be honest with you. I was in a restaurant yesterday, and I saw it coming in warm, the apple crisp, and the big chunks of this wonderful oat granola that we make. It's like candies within the crunch. So that's how I like scoop it out.
Okay, that's the recipe I want.
Scoop it out.
Because that's like, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yes,
Whoa.
organic apple. Not as much peach.
We're being thrown off the show.
Oh, every single
No,
time.
it's not. Okay, I don't know where. I see the red light. I'm freaking out. I want to know more. I want to know more about this.
Yes.
You have to give this recipe to me. Where can we find the recipe?
Well, we'll send it out in our Thanksgiving
Okay, so,
newsletter.
let's talk
I don't
about
know if
the
everybody
newsletter.
gets a newsletter. It is cheflisadahl.com.
Oh, yeah.
And get on the email list.
I'm on
I
it.
enlist people all the time. We give a newsletter with upcoming things, but always at this time of year, recipe hooks. You know, I see people cry learning how to make mashed potatoes because they love them more than anything, and they don't think they can make mashed potatoes. But guess what? The simplest things are sometimes the hardest because people don't know the hooks.
Well, so now, here's the thing, everybody. ChefLisaDahl.com. You got to go sign up for the newsletter because you're going to get recipes. And you're not going to get them here. You're going to get them there. This was just a little literal taste
Yes.
of some of this. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Love it. I love it. I love it.
Oh, I did too. My favorite holiday because it's not about a bunch of stuff you have to buy.
No, it's just so
It
fun
is. It's
to
gratitude.
just enjoy and say thank you.
Gratitude.
Okay, everybody stay with me. Chef Lisa Dahl, come back. I know you're going to be back in about a week or two. So anyway,
can't
all right,
wait.
everybody stay tuned and happy Thanksgiving.
You can taste it in every bite. For over 30 years, Chef Lisa Dahl has redefined what it means to dine in Sedona, serving soulful, handcrafted cuisine inspired by love, artistry, and community. From the wood-fired kitchens of Mariposa to the couture flair of Butterfly Burger, every experience is elevated, every ingredient intentional. To learn more about Lisa Dahl and the Dahl restaurants, please visit cheflisadahl.com.
Need a clean car fast? Come to Cleaner, Quicker Car Wash. We'll have you sparkling and back on the road in minutes. Whether you're after a quick shine or a deep clean, you'll get top quality service, eco-friendly soaps, and smiles all around. Drive up, shine up, and feel good, all without slowing down your day, and look like a star in your car. Located West Sedona on Highway 89A. For more information, visit cleanerquickercarwash.com.
here's more of Sedona's Backstage Pass with Shondra, presented by the Dahl Group.
I am so excited to have my next guest on the show today. This man is crazy. Okay, I'm just going to say it. He's
You're
a
making
nutter.
me laugh right off the bat.
I know he's a nutter. I love him because he's so much fun to be around. He is an Elton John freak. I'm going to tell you that right up front. I'm going to tell you he is also a baseball crazy person about his. We're going to get into all of it. Stephen Hanks, thank you for being here with me. This is so much fun to have you here.
Oh my God, this is great. I was so pleasantly surprised when you asked me to be on the show. I'm just bopping through town, and this woman texts me and says, "You want to be on my show?" And I'm
come
like,
on,
"Of
this
course."
woman.
Yeah,
I'm a little more than this. Just
this
that
amazingly talented woman.
No, I didn't mean that. I meant like I'm your friend. I mean, we're friends.
Of course, yeah.
And I think the last time that I saw you in this studio, you had your own show.
Exactly.
Called Sedona Life with Stephen Hanks. And by the
Exactly.
way, it's Stephen with a P-H-E-N. Thank you very much. It's something that will always be emblazoned in my mind because you made sure when I first met you was Stephen, not a V. And not an A in
Did
there.
I make
either.
sure? Did you
Yes,
ask
you
me
did.
how I wanted to be called, which most people do now?
No, you made sure that I was going to spell it properly.
That's right.
And I did.
And not with an A-N.
Not with an
Sometimes I
A-N
get
either.
Stefan.
No, I know. Tell me about it. Tom, I remember he did a big tour and they spelled his name T-H-O-M and people were calling him Thom.
This is going to be the Go-Off on Tangent show, folks.
I know it always is. So we're getting to know you, getting to know all about you. See, here's the thing. We know you because you're so involved in the community. And I have to say, you've been gone for 2 years now? Not 2 years.
Gone?
1 year from Sedona.
I left in February of this year.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought I read in, well, never mind.
I was here for 3.5 years living here.
That's
and
what
then
it is.
February,
You were here for 3.5, yes.
And
And then
then
you left us.
to go back
and
to
went,
New York.
Right, because you're a new grandpa.
That's right. That was one of the reasons.
Uh-huh.
There were some others, but that was one of the main ones.
That was a huge one.
Yeah.
Your daughter has a beautiful child.
Who's going to be 6 months in another week.
My gosh.
I know.
Goes by so fast.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's,
Unbelievable.
As long as his time goes slower than ours does now. Because now time is
Rips
a day
by.
is like 5 hours.
I know.
You know?
Do you remember those days when time was like, oh my gosh, could you please?
Yeah, when you were in elementary school and you couldn't wait for the 3 o'clock bell to go off,
I know.
which seemed like it was forever.
Forever. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. So now you're back in New York.
Right.
So now,
In
for Brooklyn. And you got you've already got the accent. So, yeah.
A little bit.
You're back in Broadway land and cabaret land.
Sort of. I mean, I'm not to the extent that I was before I came to Sedona, before the pandemic, actually.
Right. Is it really different there? Tell me about what the difference is between what it was like. Because I got to talk Broadway here. Because you bring out the New Yorker and the whole theater thing.
Right.
With me. I'm going to talk like this the entire show. I just know it. I'm putting my glasses on for a second. I just want to check something here really quickly. I know you were really involved. You were a critic, like when I say that, you were somebody who was writing reviews for Sedona, not for Sedona, for New York Cabaret, which is, I don't know, that's kind of intense. It's a small community of people. Did you ever write a review on somebody that you knew that you didn't think it was that good?
That the show was that good, so I had
it wasn't that good.
Good. As a matter of fact, it's interesting you asked that because I gained a reputation not for writing a lot of negative reviews, but for being pretty honest about my critiques. And the reason why that was different was because the cabaret world in New York is a subculture of the rest of the entertainment world, and the cabaret community. Everybody knows each other, and the reviewers know all the performers. And on occasion, sometimes performers actually did reviews of other performers, which was not really kosher.
Not really great.
So that was weird. But so when I started doing reviews, and I put a lot of pressure on myself to really learn what I was doing, because even though I'd spent my whole career as a writer and an editor, I had never done critical review writing before.
It's different, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And then you
have to be authoritative. You have to know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Or nobody's going to take you seriously.
Of course.
So I did do I would do tough reviews on people, constructive criticism. And you know this as a performer, and I don't know if you feel this way, but when I did a review, or anybody did a review, if 90% of the review was positive and there was 5 to 10% negative, like one sentence was negative, that's what they would focus on.
Of course. That's exactly correct. No, I mean, that is absolutely the God's truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth. We are very hard on ourselves, and you have a high level, and one person goes, well, it was really great, but, and that but, that's a terrible thing.
But once I got into the community as a reviewer, which I did for about 4 years, and it was actually labor of love work because I wasn't getting paid. But
you weren't getting paid?
No.
Okay, so you're doing this.
Pay, even BroadwayWorld.com, where I became the cabaret editor and the lead reviewer, it was because I wanted an outlet for my writing, and this was and I got to go to all the shows free.
Well, that's that's getting paid. I mean, that's a good trade out.
And I learned by watching the shows and reviewing the shows how to perform a show myself.
Right, because you had your own Don McLean
McLean tribute show,
which is wonderful. Yeah.
Which I did over a couple of years. I must have done about 10 times.
Lovely. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Why Don McLean? Why?
Well, he's one of the, I'm a kid of the 60s and 70s. Mm-hmm. And during the early 70s, it was that great singer-songwriter period with Paul Simon and Joni Mitchell and Carly Simon
James
and
Taylor.
Elton John. Billy Joel. I mean, it was that period. Mm-hmm. And when the song American Pie came out, and I talk about this in my show, at that point, I had enough money because I was working, as a kid, I was working like a paper route where I was making pretty good money. I had enough money to graduate from buying 45 singles to albums. So American Pie comes out. It's a big hit song.
And I remember that. It was 1970, I think.
71.
I'm going to say 70, 71, because I always go back and figure, how old was I? I remember being on one of those, I was at an amusement park in San Diego, and I remember hearing it loudly, along with Maggie May and all that stuff, Stewart and all
Maggie.
that. And I remember that moment, and I know I had to have been 12, I'm thinking.
Here's a quick, interesting Don McLean trivia item. So the American Pie album, a lot of people think it was his first album, but the year before he released an album which was called Tapestry.
Did it have Vincent on it?
Vincent was on the American Pie album.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but Tapestry came out, his album Tapestry came out before Carole King's Tapestry.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, you can't copyright a title.
Right.
You know that, right?
And in my show, I say there was no lawsuit involved.
Exactly. Actually, it probably helped both of them.
So anyway, I buy the American Pie album because it's the big hit song.
Right.
Don't know anything else about Don McLean. And I start listening to the album, and I realized that there were all these great songs that really appealed to me, that really spoke to me. And I became a fan. And then, I did like a lot of teenagers do who aspire about performing. I stood in my bedroom with the hairbrush acting like a microphone.
Yep.
And I fantasized about doing a Don McLean show one day.
How old were you then?
15.
Okay. You're a little older than I am.
I ended up doing the show when I was close to 60.
So this is how it works, right? I keep thinking to myself, I was pretending that I was a singer in a nightclub or doing shows, and it did happen. And I'm thinking, how come I couldn't have pretended I had $5 million? I was like a millionaire. That would have been nice, or a famous millionaire singer.
You're supposed to do it for the love of
I know. And I do it, believe me. I do it for the love, because you can't do it for any other reason. I mean, seriously. It's not a big, huge moneymaker.
Yeah.
Cabaret isn't. Did cabaret shows in Vegas and Reno, my own shows. It's like, it doesn't, anyway. Okay, so now, let's talk about this.
Okay.
When did it bite you? You got the bug. Was it during those years with the singer-songwriter? Was it going to the theater? What was it? What was the defining moment for you? What age are you when you know for sure that you are going to write and you know for sure this is what you're going to do and that you're going to be on a stage. Tell me what.
Are you talking about my writing and editing career or when I wanted to perform? Eventually?
I want to know about your writing first because you are a writer. This is something that you do extremely well.
Thank you.
And I mean, I have to say, for those of you not going to get into this in politics, but boy, some of those pieces that you've written are phenomenal.
Thank you.
They're wonderful.
They're painful. They're painful to write.
But they are. Yeah.
Not because they're hard to write. Well, they're a little bit hard, but also because of the content.
I was going to say painful because someone's maybe said, I'm going to knock your block off.
Yeah,
No, not for that reason.
Painful because of what the subject matter is
yes,
and how it resonates. But
that's right.
I knew I wanted to be, I grew up reading the sports sections in the newspapers with my dad all the time. And I kind of fell in love with the idea of actually writing about sports. And when I realized when I was about 14 or 15, about the same time as Don McLean, that I was not going to be a professional baseball player, even though I continued playing baseball to this day.
I know we're going to talk about that in a minute.
I was realistic about the fact that I was never going to make the major leagues, let alone go to a big college for baseball. So I focused more on my next dream, or what was actually my dream, which was one day starting my own sports magazine in New York, which I actually ended up doing.
Oh, that's fantastic. When did that happen?
In 1982, my wife, Bea, who I met through magazine publishing.
Oh, okay.
We both had the same ambition to publish our own magazine.
Oh.
So once we became a couple, we realized we had the same dream. And in 1982, we said, let's start New York Sports Magazine next year.
Oh, my gosh, Zick, I didn't know this about you. For those of you listening, did you know this about Stephen Hanks? You didn't. I know you didn't because I'm closer to him than you are, and I didn't know it.
And what was so cool was the first issue that came out was in April of 1983. I'm really dating. I wasn't even 30 years old yet when we did this.
Good for you.
And the first issue of our magazine on the newsstands in New York outsold Sports Illustrated.
Wow.
And every issue, we only managed to publish 5 issues because we couldn't raise enough money to sustain it.
Oh.
There was a recession at the time in the 80s, and it was just really tough. It was devastating when we had to fold it because it was like our first child.
Oh, that's so hard.
But the magazine was universally praised for the content. It's just that it was a failure financially.
Well, it's difficult. People don't realize, even back in the 80s, I'm sure it's been like this all the time with print, newspapers and all that. It takes a lot to keep a newspaper, a magazine running. It's very expensive.
Well, you have to raise a ton of money up front because you know you're going to lose a lot the first 2 years until it turns around.
That's right.
So, and even after New York Sports folded, we continued publishing sports one-shots for the newsstand over the next few years.
Very cool.
But once that, all ended, I continued to stay in the magazine publishing world, and I ended up publishing and editing a whole bunch of different small magazines.
How great is that? I love it. So your dream came true.
Yeah, and then briefly.
And then, of course, the baseball dream. I mean, look, when you were here in Sedona, you were very involved in the community. You were the coach at Red Rock High School.
For 2 years.
I mean, you must have loved that.
I love baseball. I love teaching baseball. I love working with kids, teenagers, whatever it is. And I knew that they needed a coach. And so when the opening happened, I grabbed it, or they grabbed me.
Yeah.
And, the only problem was because Sedona does not and hasn't had a little league for a long time, there aren't a lot of kids in the area that are experienced.
Yeah, that is a problem.
I was teaching a lot of kids in their early teens baseball from scratch.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, it was tough.
Did you feel kind of like the Bad News Bears or something?
Oh, God.
Did it feel like that? Was it like
the Bad News Bears would have kicked our butt?
Okay, that's okay. I got it. I got that.
And if anybody from the school heard that, I'm sure they would understand.
Yeah, of course they would understand. Yeah. I'm sure they were grateful to have you and your enthusiasm and your fun.
I probably would have stayed if I hadn't left to go back to New York.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Is it now? How has New York changed?
There's a lot more businesses that still haven't reopened since the pandemic. Believe it or
Wow,
not.
still.
Yeah, and it's a combination of, especially the restaurant world
Yes.
is very tough, as it is here too.
It is anywhere,
Yeah.
right? That's just a tough gig.
But the costs are so expensive. I mean, the rents are so expensive, and you could get into a whole political conversation about this in terms of the local situation, but there's a lot of landlords that are okay with keeping spaces unfilled.
Unbelievable.
Because they get some kind of tax write-off or whatever it may be.
I got to ask you, though, like, how has Broadway changed? Do you know? I mean, are you still on the pulse of that?
I keep up with it. I mean, I think, well, one thing in terms of the content, and you probably know this even though you're here, a lot of the shows are revivals because they're proven moneymakers. So they keep bringing old Broadway shows back.
Kind of like movies.
Yeah, like Chess just came back.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, with Leah Michelle, the woman who was in Spring Awakening and was on Glee. Remember when Glee was on?
Yes.
She was one of the main characters in Glee.
Oh, my goodness.
And there are new shows opening up all the time. So I think Broadway is doing okay.
Right. And off-Broadway, I understand, is doing quite well.
Yeah. People will come back. It's just the prices are like through the roof.
Yeah, I know.
You want to sit in an orchestra seat, you have to give up your firstborn child.
Right.
It's crazy.
School tuition.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, this is cool. So are you feeling at home there? You feeling like,
I'm a New Yorker. I mean,
you are.
I grew up in the Bronx and like a mile away from Yankee Stadium.
When I get back to New York, can I like say hi, stay with you?
Of course.
Sleep on your couch?
I got a really nice apartment in Brooklyn when we got back.
Okay. Good. You're on.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I have New York in me. People always think that I'm from New York.
This is true.
I'm from Texas.
Yes. I would never have known that.
Never, right? Yeah. Never.
Yeah.
Because New York has always been in my heart, in my soul. So it's Sedona, by the way.
As well as Vegas, California.
Yeah, okay. But you know what? New York, I just have to say, New York is so special. I just love it there. I feel so good there. It's the culture. It's the pace of it.
Well, when you're in the creative world like you are, it's very energizing.
Oh, it is, and I just love the culture. It's just so everywhere you turn, there's something really cool. So what do you miss about Sedona? I'm curious. Besides the Red Rocks, everyone talk, the Red Rocks, and I love the Red Rocks. What do you miss the most about Sedona?
That I made a ton of friends in a brief amount of time here, and they're great, like present company included. Yeah. The guy behind the glass in the studio.
I know, Ryan Thompson, the best engineer and producer.
Yeah, I mean,
he's so good.
All the people at the film festival. I mean,
and you're still working with the Sedona International Film Festival. You're the one who's selling the ads for the big magazine.
Right.
It's a program, but boy, it is.
It's a magazine.
Oh, it is a magazine. Yeah. It's gorgeous, and you sell those ads.
And here's the thing: you asked me what I miss. In terms of the people, because I got that job soon after I moved here.
You met everyone, didn't you?
I met everybody.
That's right.
I had to go visit people at their businesses, and I got involved in the Democratic Club even before I moved here.
Right. Didn't you get involved in the
referrals club?
The referrals, that's right. Mm-hmm.
The Sedona networking.
You were like the president of that.
Yeah, they sucked me in to be president after about the first 6 months.
No, I know. It's like it was crazy.
I just exude these leadership qualities.
I guess so. You walk around with trophies on your shoulders. It's like, hey, we can't but ask you with those trophies hanging on you.
I have a cabaret friend in New York who always calls me senator and keeps asking me to run. And I'm like, there's too many skeletons in the closet.
Oh, are there?
Way. And then she'll say, everybody's got skeletons in the closet.
That's
now.
true.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, share with me a craziest thing that ever happened to you in your career. It could be writing, it could be theater, it could be any of the cabaret. The craziest thing.
Oh, wow.
I want to know.
It has to be, the thing that comes to mind more than anything else is after the first issue of New York Sports came out. When the first issue of New York Sports came out in 1983.
Yes.
I had copies and a press release sent to all the sports writers that were covering baseball. And the New York Mets, my favorite team, was playing the afternoon that the writers got this press release. And what was special about it was there was a guy in the first issue. We had an interview with one of the players on the Mets who, during the interview, which was in February, because you always had to do the stories before
Right.
the magazine came out, was with the writer, and he was like drinking beer all afternoon during the interview. And he wouldn't say anything was off the record. And during the interview, he was trashing everybody on the team.
Oh, my God.
And the front office. So the writer contacts me and says, Steve, you would not believe what I have. This is going to put the magazine on the map.
Oh, no.
So
Unbelievable.
it ended up that the Mets banned me from Shea Stadium because of that story.
Oh, my gosh. That's
For a year.
for a year? You were blacklisted.
The PR guy called me up while I was at home watching the game.
What?
And was cursing me out about the story
Oh,
on
my
the phone.
gosh. You see, there's crazy stories everywhere you turn. Thank you. Oh, my gosh. I can't believe we're out of town. We're out of time.
Wow. That went quick.
I know. It's just going to be like you're going to be out of town again here pretty quick. You're here, you blow in, you blow out, you know.
There you go.
But I'm so glad you're here, and thank you for being
Same
on my
here.
show.
Same.
Thank
Great
you.
seeing you.
It's so wonderful to have you here. And Stephen Hanks. Yes, be looking for him in the lights of New York City. That's right, writing. You guys stay with me. I'll be right back.
You've explored the trails, stood in awe of the red rocks. Now, discover how Sedona became Sedona. The Sedona Heritage Museum tells the story of Red Rock country, from ancient cultures to today's vibrant community. It's interactive, family-friendly, and open year-round, indoors and out. Sedona Heritage Museum, preserving and sharing the soul of Red Rock country. Plan your visit at sedonamuseum.org or call 928-282-7038.
Take a deep breath, then let it go. At Sedona's New Day Spa, your escape begins the moment you arrive. Enjoy luxurious massages, rejuvenating facials, and native-inspired body treatments. Every moment is designed to restore balance and renew your spirit. Voted Sedona's Best Day Spa, this is more than self-care. It's your sanctuary. Book your experience today at SedonaNewDaySpa.com or call 928-282-7502.
When your project demands precision, experience, and trust, turn to Sefton Engineering Consultants. From expert civil engineering to construction management, we deliver real-world solutions that stand the test of time. With over 30 years in the business, Luke Sefton's team is committed to getting your project done right, on time, and on budget. Sefton Engineering Consultants. Reliable, experienced, personal. Learn more at SeftonEngineeringConsultants.com.
Here's more of Sedona's Backstage Pass with Shondra, presented by the Dahl Group.
Well, it was wonderful having Chef Lisa Dahl here as always. And of course, Stephen Hanks coming in from New York. He didn't come in just for this, but you know, did you hear that? You know what that means. If you've been listening, it's time for my shameless Shondra spot. So I want to tell you about something that's brand new. I do have a lot of things going on. People say, how in the world are you balancing all of this? Well, you know, sometimes I do drop a few of the balls that I am juggling, but this is a new thing, and it's called the In the Living Room Music Series. I had founded that and produced it every Wednesday from 2014, I believe we started in October, 2014 through 2016, and it was every week, and it was great fun. I got to meet all the different musicians here in town. A lot of them I've worked with, some of them I had not. Some of them were people that actually came in from Nashville. It was really fun. We did really, really well with that, and it's sort of like this. If you remember the Actors Studio, where there was a moderator and the audience could ask questions, well, that's what this is, but it's gone music. So I'm renaming it Sedona's In the Living Room Music Series. And of course, the byline is the Actors Studio Gone Music. We're going to be starting that this coming January 2026 at the Mary D. Fisher Theater. I am so excited about this. Patrick Schweiss said yes, and we're doing this. And like I said, it's going to start in January. The first concert is January 12th, and then the next one will be on the 26th of January. So we're not going to do it every week. We're going to have it bi-monthly, and it'll be so much fun. I'm going to be able to bring in my friends as well as musicians that I don't know, and maybe some people that I've known for years that were actually in the Living Room Music series back in 2014 through the 2016. So be looking for this, okay? And if you want to be a sponsor, let me know, because actually the admission is going to be very reasonable. It will be $20 at the door, and the admission is going to be split by the artist and Sedona International Film Festival. So you'll actually be supporting the film festival as well as the musicians here in Sedona. So those of you who are traveling in, make sure you take a look at it. I do have a Facebook page, and it does say In the Living Room Music Series. I'm going to change it a little bit. Anyway, thank you for checking it out. And just remember, it's Sedona's In the Living Room Music Series starting in January 2026. Wow, what a fun show this has been. I just love the guests that come on. I learned so much about these amazing individuals, and I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. Getting to know people behind the scenes is just fascinating, isn't it? And I want to thank my sponsors. Because of them, I can actually do this show. Sedona Heritage Museum, Sefton Engineering, Cleaner Quicker Car Wash, Sedona New Day Spa, Sedona Ballet, and my presenting sponsor, the Dahl Group with Chef Lisa Dahl. And I want to thank my producer and engineer, Ryan Thompson, who always makes this show sound so professional and fabulous, and the owner of KAZM 106.5 FM and 780 AM, Chuck Helstein. Remember, it's mellowmountainradio.com. And I hope that you will come back every Saturday at 10 a.m. with your VIP pass, because we're going to hear from other wonderful artists in the Sedona and Verde Valley area. And in the meantime, if you have missed some shows, make sure you go to Apple Podcasts. You can go back to mellowmountainradio.com. They're all archived there, and Spotify and Pandora Radio. So we'll see you next Saturday at 10 a.m. for Sedona's Backstage Pass. It's amazing what